Well, I think it's this idea of free-flowing movements. When you look at the desert or the prairie, these so-called smooth spaces, they move in their own way, and you cannot dictate your own movement to these spaces. You have to flow along. You have to go along with the way they move, the way they reshape themselves. It's like this folding, unfolding, refolding kind of thing, and so you move along, and then it becomes interesting when you start building, because when you build, you make this solid structure, a solid structure in a moving environment, like building something on sea, and then you know why the ship has to be built in such a way that it moves along with the waves and or whatever storm catches it. The same goes for the desert. Although there's obviously a different kind of movement. It's more the movement is more subtle, more, I don't know, more intense, because it has a different timing. It's slow. It creeps upon you, like the wave catches you and it's there. But this slow moving desert, it's something which is too slow maybe to perceive, to comprehend. And like nomads or whatever, roaming around in these deserts or tundras or prairies or whatever it is, they learn how to adapt to the movement of nature. And I think that's where you get to Frank Lloyd Wright's organic architecture. It's not just the building, but it's the building, the movement of the building, and how it moves with the environment, and how let me rephrase that, how it is moved by the environment, how the environment moves the architecture, and thus moves the person walking around in that architecture, using that architecture, living in that architecture. That's a very important thing, I think, to consider when you're talking about organic architecture, and it's also obviously using this landscape, building in it, living in it, in this process which is in this constant this landscape which is in this constant state of becoming, and then obviously you have to make a very delicate decisions on which materials you use, because the materials have to move along, have to move with the nature which shapes this landscape. So that's then the most obvious choice would is to use the materials laid out in front of you. You pick them up and you start building with them in whatever way they can be used. So there is an interesting challenge, and almost I think it's the idea of almost creating architecture which isn't there. It gives you shelter, but it also gives you space. It opens up. The space steps into existence when the architecture is created, and you more or less try to open up the space. It has to be this free-flowing movement from the inside out, but this inside is then again shaped by the how do you call it, by the outside, by the exterior. The exterior basically it shapes the space. So it's this. It's not a singular movement. It always goes two. It's like a paradoxical movement. It goes two ways. It goes inside out, outside in, and it's just. And this movement makes it possible for whatever inhabitant to move along with this very natural. I won't say logical, because it's not about being logical, but about being natural. It's this natural movement which makes you feel at ease, makes you feel at home. Really, like not just a shelter which feels uncomfortable, which you want to run out of as soon as the weather clears up, or I don't know. But this idea of feeling at ease there, enjoying being there, just like whenever you're in nature and you feel comfortable. That's what architecture should do. It shouldn't strain you. It shouldn't force you or mold you in some sort of behavior, and I think that's what Frank Lloyd Wright understood very good. Obviously, he grew up in nature and he remained in nature, and nature was always important to him. Just like when you look at a philosopher like Nietzsche. Nietzsche went out into the mountains, the Swiss Alps, for whatever reason. That's not even important, but he knew how important this nature was, and how that nature was able to make him think, to make him live, to help him think of what whatever his thoughts were curious about. So yeah, this free-flowing movement, that's basically what it's about.